All right, so let's create that report. Now the task is again the same, guys. Create custom report. That's the task. And the report will be, let's say WTE7 underscore ADB underscore WS. Okay. WS stands for web services. I will enable this web service this time and I'll remove this checkbox. And then what I'll do, I'll use the same type of report, all active and terminated workers. This is my data source. Now this data source has the maximum number of record. Others, data sources or business object does not have even few records also, and in the tenant. So that's the reason we always use this. So do you notice a change in this? Do you see anything that got added here somewhere?
Yeah, this XML thing override.
Yes. So this is something new. So if you let's add those fields again. Okay, you see this gets automatically coming up here, right? Why is that? This is because when we enable the web service actually puts everything in the XML format. And on the user interface, on the UI, you would not see anything basically. Everything will be done in the backend except the name. So every name has a XML tag which is created by Workday. Okay. So whenever I add anything, the same thing, whatever the name of the things are, we can get it here. Right? So do you see the changes, guys?
Yeah.
So this is the use of my enabling the web services. So whenever we enable the web services, that becomes a challenge.
Then what is the use of this website?
Yes, I'll tell you what is the use. If you go into this and add another business object, right? And add, let's say I'm not going adding worker, but I'll add, what should I add? Let's use the same business object, which is job profile. And then let's use the same comp grade. Okay. And ideally an alert should come. Alert has not come. That is absolutely fine. Then let's add one more business object. We'll use the same dependents. And then let's add gender. I'm not going to override anything this time. Okay. And let's go to this tab, which says advanced. Now, what is the thing that you see here that is different? Everything will remain same, this two things. Now I'm going to get into this option. So as I have enabled this as a web service, then only this has become active. If I would have removed this, it was gone, it would have gone. And here also XML alias part is removed. See, there is no XML alias here. It's all blank, right? So when I enable this again, it will come. So whenever we have to make any report, a web service in the sense which can be used in different applications and which can be used to send or receive data, that is basically where you enable the web services. Now, what is the concept behind web service? Why do we need it? Anybody has any idea?
No idea about web
to
services.
expose this report as an API.
Yeah, so the report becomes XML enabled, which means I can use this to transport data from one point to the other. So API is basically a terminology which is given when we use anything in integrations. So how do we connect to different systems? So we do connect with the help of APIs. Now API, when you convert this into a web service, this report structure, right? This report structure automatically converts itself into XML. And when it gets converted into XML, you can use that in integrations. Why we can use it in integrations? Because it recognizes only XML or JSON format. And that's the reason why we have to convert it into web service. Now, what is a web service? Web service is a kind of transportation path which helps us to connect to different systems with the help of APIs. Right. So now this, when we enable the web services on this report gets converted into an XML format, which we will not be able to see. Again, I'm saying it, but it is ready for consumption in any integration. Where are we going to use it? We are going to use it into EIB outbound. So if time permits, we will see that. I mean, definitely we will be able to see it today because the next topic is I'm going to cover would be EIB only. Okay, so this is the use of. So you see this option that it has been enabled and now it says web service API version. So this version is of Workday because whenever Workday gets upgraded, the version changes. And you know that every 6 months it gets upgraded. So this got upgraded last month only in March. So we have all the versions from version 1 till the latest one. So anytime you feel that this report is not working and it was working in the previous version, so this is the option by which you can actually go backwards in any other version. And that is the reason these reports are backward compatible. Now, why would a running report stop working? So if there is any upgrade, let's say I used first name in my report, and in the next version, let's say version 39, that gets removed because Workday can change the metadata at any point of time. And instead of first name and last name, they've just put one name field. In those cases, as the report and everything will be automatically upgraded to 39, that report will stop working. So the first thing you should always check is whether my report is compatible. If it was running on 38, now why it is not running, you can go back to 38 and correct it. Okay. And it will start working again. That will not be a problem. It will start working again. And then after that, what is going to happen? You need to change the field name in your report. And we can move it back to 39. It will stop working again in 39 also. So that is how this report is useful. And you have a backward compatibility option as well. Now, if you see this option, it says namespace. So namespace is a path that you see on the system here. So here you see earn:com.workday.report. So this is the web server of Workday. And this is the path in the report folder. This report is created. Okay. So this gives us the path. Now, if I go ahead and click on OK, I'll get an error, guys. You see one error and one alert. What is that? Group column heading must be specified for all subgroups. And then here you have column heading override XML alias. It says that web service alias that 16 character or fewer, longer name will increase the report's output file size. Okay. So I'll let you know. Where do we see this kind of errors? In case your column name is high and you have not enabled something more. Now what we have to do, what we have to enable? You see this dependents and job profile. So these dependents and job profile have to be added here. Why? Because they also need to be converted into an XML format. Automatically it will show you. See, I got job profile and then it gets converted into this format so that their data can also go, and they should know that this data is coming from two related business object, not the primary business object. That's the reason we were getting that error. Now that error is gone once we have added it. Now if I click on OK, I'll not get that error. Okay. And when I run this report, I will not get any problem in the report. The report will work absolutely fine. On the UI, there will be no change. There will be no XML data that I'll be able to see here. So when I run the report, I will see the normal data. Okay. So you see this? All the data is coming absolutely fine. There's no problem. Now this web service report is ready. Okay. So is there any questions on advanced report with web services that you have not understood? Please let me know.
Devasis, why we added that dependence and job profile?
So I explained you, right, that if you have a related business object, those business objects also need to be converted into XML format.
So in the
If
top,
yeah,
in the above table, it was showing like XML format name.
that is the field name, not the business object name, right? Do you see that?
Okay.
Because worker is primary business object, that will automatically be converted. We don't need to do that separately. But as we have added the related business objects, that needs to be converted because that acts as a group. And we have to convert that into a group column heading. Otherwise, the data from those two business objects will not be part of this report. It will start throwing error.
Okay, so for every means related business object, we need to add here.
That is correct. See, this alert is coming. This alert is coming because you have so many big names. Compensation underscore grade, dependence underscore group, job profile underscore group. So it will give you that. See, it says put a name which is 16 characters or lower. If it goes beyond it, the file size will increase. So for us, it does not matter. The reason is we have very less data in the system. But if you have to remove it, you can do that. You can put your own name also. I mean to say, if you want to change this, you can do that. Okay, but I'll just leave it like that because it's an alert. It's not going to throw an error. But maybe in the future, when the data increases, it might start giving me an error. You know, it will make my report to run slower. That's the only thing which it will do. And that is how it gives me the data. So now when I run the report, I will get whatever I need and the data will come in front of me. Okay, any questions? Anything that you want to discuss?
Debashish, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about SOAP and REST also, like these are also web services, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So here, like in Workday, we specifically use XML.
No, SOAP and REST is an API. Okay. It also uses XML. XML is the body. Whenever you send a request or you receive a response, right? The body of that request is XML. So we are converting this report. As you see, this is in rows and columns right now. It will get converted into XML so that it can be sent to any destination with the help of web services. That's the use of it.
Okay.
So in REST and SOAP, XML is only used. And that is a part of your advanced integration. It is not part of our course also. For that, you need to be a developer, someone who knows XML, XSLT, and little bit of Java to write those code, then only that course is worth going into. Otherwise, it is of no use.
And Devasis, if we go for means advanced report training or something, or if we get a job, so there also need development background, or we can do it.
Yeah, there also you would need development background, because without that you would not be able to work on it. It's completely coding.
And coding in only like XML, XSLT, or any other.
I said XML, XSLT, and little bit of Java.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So if you want to get into integrations like coding is mandatory, I thought 90%
No,
can be
only
done.
not integrations. Again, I'm saying it is only in the advanced integration. When I go into EIB and core connector, those two are integrations which cover 90% of the integration work that you do. It
Yes.
is only required for the 10% which is advanced integration.
And we also have Workday Studio, right, for integrations,
Yes.
which is a drag and drop.
Yeah. So that is again, that is all. It comes under 10% of the integration.
10% or 90%?
10%.
So you're saying like
90% is
90%?
your core connector and EIBs.
Okay. But where do we need coding?
In your Workday Studio and API integrations, which is REST and SOAP. You don't need coding in EIB and core connector.
Okay.
Right. So means in Workday Studio, we also learn about core connector and this EIB.
No,
Plus,
we don't need those things.
Okay.
Workday Studio and API integrations are completely separate. Those
Okay.
has no relationship. What are the things that needs to be connected with Workday, right? So when I say we need integrations, so whenever we talk about integrations, it has to be a connection between two endpoints, right? And those two endpoints are, one is definitely Workday, another can be any other third-party systems. Okay. So I have shared a PPT with you guys. When you get that folder, I have shared a folder that contains 4 documents. One that contains the PPT on integrations. Okay. Then it contains the document on calculated fields. It contains, a small snippet of code, which, helps you to convert anything from XML to a specific format that we might see in core connector. And it will also contain these notes, the notes which I use in my notepad while taking the session. So I have given that as well, so that in case you want to just take a look at it, you can do it. It works like a cheat sheet. Okay, so that is something which is required. Okay, so when we talk about integrations, it is connecting two different systems. So one is definitely going to be Workday, and other depends upon your requirement, that which third-party systems you want to connect. It can connect with any other systems. Just they have to tell us what way they want to connect and how exactly we do it. We do it in 3 ways, guys. Okay, one is through EIB. EIB has 2 parts, inbound and outbound. Now, what is inbound? What is outbound? Inbound means we are receiving data from a third party and we are inserting it into Workday. So it becomes inbound integrations. And then outbound integrations are those integrations which we use the system and we extract the data from Workday and we send the data to a third party. So that becomes an outbound integrations. Okay. Is the difference between inbound and outbound clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. So with EIB, we can do both. We can do inbound, we can do outbound. With core connector, Also, we can do both, but core connector is maximum used for your outbound. So it will send the data in a specific format, guys. It is only sending the data in XML. There is no other way. But when you take the output of your EIB, you can put any format of your choice. So let's look at EIB first. That how do we create EIB? So the task is create EIB. That's my task.
What is full form of EIB?
Enterprise Interface Builder.
Okay.
Now, when you see this, it says start creating your EIB by giving a name and selecting its direction. Outbound EIB export data from Workday to external system. Inbound EIB is import the data from external system to Workday, right? So let's first create outbound because we have created an advanced report with web services, right? So EIB can use custom reports for extracting the data and sending it to a third party. It can also use web services, but I will show you through custom report, and inbound I'll show you with web services. Okay, so let's try to configure it. Okay, WDE7 EIB underscore OB. So I've just kept a name so that we all remember that, this is our integration system. So it gives me a wizard. Now, what is that wizard? So there are 3 to 4 steps in this. First is your general setting. How is the setting look like? Okay. This is my name. This is the ID. So I've kept a name. The same name has been chosen as an ID because it would be unique. And then I have the option where it says get data. So from where do you get the data? That you need to export and send it to a third party, right? So the data is going to come from 2 ways. You see this option? It says custom report or web service. So here I'll use custom report. What was the name of the report that we created, guys? There was only one report with this name, which was enabled web service, right? Now you see only that report here. So whatever data is going to come in this report, that data will be sent to the third party system. So if you have to send the data through outbound, through EIB, you first have to create a report and you can use the report to send the data. And in that report, put the name of the columns and extract the data which is required. This is the most useful way of using EIB. Then I'll click on next. So whenever we have to send the data or receive the data, okay, we always have to use transformation. Now this transformation, what it is going to do is it will convert the file into a consumable format. Now who is going to consume this? This will be consumed by Workday, and then only it will be sent in a XML format to the third party, right? So every report that we have created with a web service in that, it can be transformed, and Workday can do it by themselves. So right now, if you see, it says transformation type, none. So there are 3 ways you will see here: custom report, custom transformation, new custom report transformation. Custom report transformation basically means that you already have created a custom report transformation, which you have already created a report and you have transformed it. You may have used it into one of the other integrations. If you want the same data to be sent through a new integration, then you will use this option, which is custom report transformation. And that transformation you can choose. But we know that we have just created this report, right? And we haven't done any integration with this report. So this report does not have a transformation. We need to build it. So we will choose new custom report transformation. Okay, but what is this custom transformation? Now, custom transformation basically means that if you want to write your own custom transformation, you can use that. And here, if you use it, then it will ask for the custom transformation code. So that also you can put it if you want, but we will not use that. It is of no use for us. Why? Because we have to get the data from the report, and I can easily do it with the help of new custom report transformation. So once I choose new custom report transformation and just click on save, I will get the transformation automatically. Now this is done by Workday. This is built by Workday themselves. So if I just want to edit it, you will see that report transformation is already created and that option of new custom report transformation is gone. I don't see that anymore. Why? Because the transformation has been built. Now, if I use this report in any other integration, I can just go into custom report transformation and get this transformation and I can add it. I don't need to rebuild that transformation file because it is already built. Okay. Does it make sense, guys? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. And then I'll click on next. Now here is the main thing. So what we have done up till now, we have created a EIB, which is outbound in nature. We have selected the data source, that to be a custom report. And then we already created a report with the web service. And the last step was to put it into a transformation. So now I have put it into a transformation. So when I put it into a transformation, I get that transformation file. Okay. The transformation file is a XML file, guys, again, because that data gets converted into XML. And now we need to deliver that data to a third party. That's a delivery method. So Workday has given multiple delivery methods to us, and any of the vendor to whom you have to send the data, they will be using one of them for sure. And what is this one of them? If you will see, there are different methods of connecting to a third party, right?
Okay.
Now, one is Amazon Simple Storage, then there is AS2, then is email, FTP, right? FTP, SSL. I mean, it's clear, I hope, right? Amazon Simple Storage, AS2, email, FTP, FTP, SSL, HTTP, SSL, SFTP. Have you heard all this?
Yeah, heard about email, FTP, SSL, HTTP.
So every vendor, whoever is using this, they will have the option. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So the most used option to deliver any integration would be either FTP, SFTP. These are the most used ones, and this is readily available. I have AS2, which is used by very rare people, rare in the sense that it is used only in very secured environment where you have to put the data in a different format. Email, one of the most used one. FTP, as I stated, file transfer protocol, that is also very used. SFTP also is very used. HTTP, FTP, SSL, these are used but not very common. Okay, so I'll show you how exactly it works. Let's say the vendor whom you're sending the data, they're using an AWS server. You know what is AWS? How many of you have heard about it?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
AWS.
Amazon Web Service.
Yes, Amazon Web Services. So if anybody has hosted their system on AWS, then they would use AWS server. Okay. And if I have to send the data to them, then I have to use all this information. Bucket, region. Now, what is this region? This is the location of the data center, guys, where the Amazon server is located. So Workday has given you all the options. You can choose one of them because their server will be located somewhere. And then you have the access key and secret access key. So all this information will be given to you by the vendor whom you are sending the data. Okay. And then once that is done, then you have to put the file name and then click on next. That's it. To use any of the services here, which is whichever is mentioned, you need those required fields. So for Amazon, you need all this information: bucket, region, access ID, secret access key. This is something which is not mandatory because not everybody or every customer may use this secret access key because they have to pay extra for that. But everyone would be using access key ID. Okay, and access key, region, and bucket. Everybody would be knowing what are the three options that they have, and they can ask the Workday team to send the data. Similarly, when you use FTP SSL, right, everything will be same, but the address which you have mentioned here, that will have a SSL certificate. How many of you understand what is SSL? I mean, any idea what is SSL?
It is a kind of security related to security.
So SSL stands for secured socket layer. Okay. So when it comes to a secure socket layer, guys, what will happen in that? A certificate gets added, and that is a extra layer of security that is provided. Every connection, you see this option, you have a lock sign, right? So when you click on this, it says connection is secure. Why? Because this is also HTTPS. So next flow is HTTP SSL that you see here, right? HTTP SSL. So when I use HTTP SSL, it gives me that the field should be in this format, right? And this is your HTTPS. If I just type it here, I mean, I'll just copy and paste it here. See, this error would be gone. This error is gone. Why? They have got the domain with this particular address, right? So that's the reason HTTPS has that SSL part. Similarly, for FTP, you will add that certificate, the layer, then there will be no errors. And that address will be changed, FTP : / right? I'll give that error. It will see FTP SI or SE. Then the actual link or name will start with this SSL, FTP SI or FTP SE. Okay. Does it make sense, guys?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Okay. Then HTTP SSL you have already understood. Then coming to SFTP. SFTP also is the same way. SFTP will be the top thing that will be written there. See, SFTP : all this. And then authentication mode, there is username and password. Okay. And there is a dual method here. Dual authentication or SSH authentication or username and password. So if I just put in username and password, it will ask me the username and password. But if I use SSH, then it will ask me the user ID and that key that you will get from the vendor. And if I just put both, it will ask you for the username, password, and the SSH. So it depends upon the vendor, how they want to authenticate, which is the method they have used. So with the help of that, you can do it. All right. But as we don't have a real-time system, we don't have a real-time place where we can send the data, what we will use is we will use Workday attachment, guys. So Workday attachment, and I'll say result.csv. Okay. So I can change the format of that document anytime. Okay. Because this is EIB, the output will come in that format which I put here. And I'll click on next. Although it gives me an error. Why? Because I have selected all those, but I have not put anything there, right? So if I just go back, let's see, it will allow me or not, and save it. Okay, my error is gone now, but I'll have to edit the file. Okay, result.csv, and then click on next. So my configuration is complete. So name, ID. Now from where I'm getting the data, custom report, this is my report. Then the transformation, it is giving me the complete summary that what I have done here. This is my transformation. And then final, this is my delivery. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and click on OK here. So once I click on OK, once I do this delivery, all these things, my integration is ready. Okay. And then finally, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and go to the integration, and you see this option, it says launch/schedule, right? So I'll launch it. So here, just like the report, you have all the options. Run now, run once in future, every minute, every hour, every day, every weekly once, monthly, or you want to put some dependent or custom reoccurrence, you can do that. Now I want to run it now because I want to show you the output. Okay. Now when I have to run it, it will ask me, okay, this is the file that you have put. You want to change it. You can specify the value and put a different file name. But I said, no, I want to use the same at whatever is the name. Now document retention. So guys, whenever the integration runs, it produces a document, right? Now, by default, it will always be 1 day. But if you want to increase that, you can do it. But you can do it maximum up to 180 days or 6 months. Now, I'll go ahead and click on OK, guys. Once I click on OK, my integration will start running. You see, it will take 10 seconds hardly to process it. Okay, and I'll get an output file. You see this? Next time I refresh, I hope it gets completed. 84%. So output file, I'll have an output file very soon. See, I got the output file. And that output file is basically, you see this result.csv. So once it is there, it will give me the data, right? So this is in CSV, guys, okay? But I don't know, it did not open in CSV. Maybe it looks like I don't have Excel. That's the reason it opened in Word doc, but I'll try to see if I can use that and open it in Excel format. So just give me a minute. Let me go to downloads. Yeah. Open with Excel. You see this, I got the data in this format. This is my file that I put it, first name, and all those information that I needed, right? So whatever data I had in that report, it came. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So we have to be very sure that what is that data that you want to get, and what is that way how you want to deliver it. So if you know the delivery and if you know the data, you can easily create a report and send that through EIB. This is the most used integration, guys. So if I just show you inbound and outbound, if I just show you both, it will contain or 25% of the work on the integration that you do it through EIB. Whether it is outbound, inbound, you still do 25% of the work through EIB. 60 to 65% of the work is done through core connector. And that's the reason I said that 90% of the work that you do in your daily life in Workday, that is done through EIB and core connector, because these are recommended ways of integrations by Workday, because you're not writing the code. So this is an out-of-box functionality, and Workday always prefers that whoever is using out-of-box functionality, that is considered to be a best practice. So a lot of organizations prefer using this, right?